Hello everybody, Pancakes here, and Merry Christmas. I hope you've all been enjoying the holidays. I myself have been enjoying them quite a bit. And yeah, it's been a good time, and I thought I would go ahead and get you guys some content, and what better content to do that with than with some Black Ops 2, right? And we have some kill confirmed here on Drone, which is probably one of my least favorite maps in the game. Don't know why, just don't like the layout, don't like the way it plays, but don't really have a choice but to vote on it. Unfortunately, in this particular match, we did not have that opportunity, but things still managed to go well. So what I thought would go ahead and do is first of all go into what I like to do specifically in drone that helps me to get a good score. Now, generally speaking, I think the most obvious thing that can be said is that you want to avoid the center portion of the map because people on this map, for whatever reason, just love to snipe. And you're going to have people sniping either on the helicopter pad or on the other side of the map in the sort of the hills. People love to snipe, and as a result of that, you want to stay out of the crossfire. So definitely stay on the perimeter of the map. This is pretty much the case with virtually every map in this game. However, I feel like in this map it's especially important because if you run through the middle of the map, you're going to get killed. Pretty much guaranteed. So definitely stay on the outside. And because of the tendency of a lot of people to snipe on this map in particular, it's not a bad idea to flank. In fact, I almost always flank on this map because the snipers in this game, they get so much tunnel vision that they're pretty much free kills if you play it right. So I think flanking is a very effective strategy in this game, and it's a very effective strategy in general. I think that in a game with as much lag compensation as this game, where you die so quickly, and in this game you actually die a lot slower than you did in previous games, but you still die pretty quickly. You don't want to just go running in trying to hit fire everybody head on. It just doesn't work quite as well. I think if possible, it's better to try and flank people, to try and shoot them from the side or from whatever direction that they're not expecting you to shoot them from. That usually results in easy kills, which translates to a good score. So that's usually the best way to go. So if you are more of a rusher, I think flanking is definitely a very important tactic to employ. And I myself tend to be a very defensive player. I know this, but even being a defensive player, I still have times where I feel that playing aggressively is appropriate. And for example, flanking is one such strategy that I often like to employ, and it usually works pretty well as long as you use it where appropriate. And I've said this many times before, a good player knows when to sit back, a good player knows when to be aggressive, and a lot of that's kind of your call. If you feel like you're in over your head, take it easy. If you feel like the enemy team is sort of vulnerable, I guess you could say, like if they're sniping or if they're kind of set up in a position not expecting you to come by and flank, that may be the way to go as well. It's all up to you. But that's generally how I like to play this map, is I like to flank quite a bit. I like to travel on the outsides of the map, and I think in particular, especially on the indoors parts, you don't want to sprint around too much because they're very tight corners. People with R870s and KSGs tend to dwell in these areas, and they tend to be very annoying. So if you're sprinting around a lot, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose that gunfight. At the very least, if you're taking it easy, playing it safe, a lot of the times you may be able to get the drop on them, and you'll be able to, do pretty well. So that's kind of how I like to do that. Now, the next thing here that I want to talk about is score streaks, and specifically what I like to run. I've been sort of playing with different types of score streaks now for the last month and a half or so, trying to see what I like, what I don't like. There are certain maps where I think one score streak setup may work better than the other. Generally speaking, if I had to pick just blindly 3 score streaks to choose, the 3 are usually going to be VSAT, Lodestar, and Warship. I know that a lot of people would like to go VSAT, Dogs, and Swarm. However, I haven't had the best luck with Dogs. I don't know what it is about Dogs in this game. I loved them in Black Ops 1. They obviously were quite good in World at War. But in this game, man, I've been a bit disappointed. Maybe because it's such a high score streak, but I just haven't got that many kills on average with Dogs. Just haven't been as good as I expected. So I don't run them really at all. I tried them, didn't like them that much. I think they're good on certain maps. They're good on Express. I think they might be pretty good on something like Plaza, where there are a lot of indoors areas where something like Swarm or Lodestar may not be that good. But for your average map, I don't really think it's that great, personally. You may disagree. That's certainly you're right. That's just my opinion. In terms of Swarm, Swarm is pretty good. I don't want to say Swarm is bad. It's quite good. I ran it for a while. If you play something like Carrier, you'll usually get, quite a few kills. I had like 20 plus. I think with one Swarm I got in Carrier. It was insane. But, a lot of the times it'll get you maybe on average 7 or 8 kills, which is pretty good, definitely. However, I also get that many on average with the Lodestar and with the Warship, and those two score streaks are significantly easier to get than Swarm. In fact, if you get the VSAT and you don't die immediately after getting your VSAT, you've pretty much secured yourself a Lodestar and a Warship. Because, the two are so close together. It's like a 2-for-1 package, which is awesome. And you're not going to have any shortage of kills if you call in a back-to-back Lodestar and Warship at all. Usually you'll get plenty of kills with those two. And the best thing to do is if you get that VSAT, milk it for all it's worth. Don't just, sit down and call in that Lodestar with half your VSAT to go. Milk that thing for what it's worth. Try to build your next streak up. And a lot of the times, if you do it properly, by the time you're done with both your Lodestar and your VSAT, or in your VTOL Warship, you'll either have your next VSAT or you'll be very close to it. So that's good. So that's how I would play that. But yeah, a Swarm, good score streak. I just don't know if it's worth the 1900 when you can get virtually the same thing from the Lodestar and the Warship with less effort. The only real benefit is that you can't really shoot down a Swarm. But the drawback, of course, is that it's harder to get. It's not that hard to get, but it is harder to get, and you will get buzz killed off that Swarm a lot more often. So that's the risk you run. I don't know if it's necessarily worth the extra effort, so I don't run it anymore. Your mileage may vary. Now that's what I usually like to run if I'm playing on a very indoors map like Express. Another setup I like to run is either AGR, VSAT and Dogs, or Stealth Chopper, VSAT and Dogs. Either of these two tend to work okay. And if I'm playing, if I'm not playing very well, or if I'm warming up, a good, easy, kind of laid-back sort of score streak setup tends to be VSAT counter UAV counter UAV and VSAT. Note that the VSAT is the common trend in all of these score streak setups. I love the VSAT. I think it's so versatile. It's helpful to your team. It makes it much easier to string together long score streaks. It's a good way to go. Definitely, if you can run the VSAT, there's no reason not to use it. It's that good. I perma unlocked it second prestige. That's how good it was. So I'd recommend using it definitely. But yeah, if I'm not running that, if I'm not playing that well, then UAV, counter UAV, and VSAT is a good way to go. Because if you can't get that VSAT, you can at least get the UAV and the counter UAV, which will help your team out, and you won't feel horrible for not getting one score strike the entire game. And the UAV and counter UAV tends to help you get that VSAT tremendously. It's a huge help. The plus 20 for each assist is good. Blinding the enemy team while giving you UAV is also a very good way towards building that score streak. So it's a good support score streak setup. I actually ran the score streak setup with a full party. We won the game like 220. We called in several VSATs in one game. It was utter domination. Pardon the pun. So definitely recommend that setup if you're not playing that well, or if you want to go more for a support role or whatever it may be. Definitely a good setup. I think counter UAV is very underrated in this game. So yeah, I think that about does it. Real brief with that, but hopefully may give you guys a little bit of insight as to why it is I use what I use. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys later.
Stella.